Yo, what's going on, Senpai Squad? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're back again talking about the Boruto anime. This time we're going to be discussing Boruto episode 179. And what a damn good episode of Boruto that was. It was almost, dare I say it, perfect. It brilliantly introduced all of the Kara members and pretty much brought forward their personalities effortlessly. Amado's personality shone straight through in this episode. You could tell that he was a cool, calm, collected and hard-working individual who is committed to his goal. Delta is, well, she's loud, rude, aggressive, and is definitely the type of woman who would have an army of simps behind her. I might be one of them. And then obviously Victor and Jigen, we've seen them a touch before, but we got to see them a lot more, well, Jigen more so, in this episode. And we learned that him and Amado have a bit of a closer partnership going on than the rest of Kara. Or the Kara, as it's apparently they refer to themselves as. I'm just gonna cross off the and just stick to Kara. The Kara just sounds weird. But you can tell that those two are definitely the head operators around here. But what I want to talk about today is not necessarily just Kara as individuals, but them as a collective group. And how exactly their goals align, because personally I think it's a really interesting dynamic. Because having a group of people all come together with a common goal, but all in the end for their own selfish reasons, is really interesting. Because like I said, they've all got a common goal. They've all got something they strive to achieve, but the end outcome of what they come to achieve is all completely different. So by doing that, they never quite feel unified. As we saw in this episode, Victor wants to sabotage the plan, Deepa wasn't trusted, Delta just doesn't like anyone, except Jigen and one other that she didn't mention when she was listing off all the people she hated. And that was Kashin Koji. And now that's not because Kashin Koji didn't feature in the episode, because she still name-dropped Code and Borrow. So I think that's quite interesting to see how the anime is going to flesh on their relationship together and see if it's going to be any different to her relationship with Victor and Amado and so forth. Also, when she said that she wished Victor had kicked the bucket alongside Deepa, well, that does unfortunately more or less confirm that we lost our boy. So can we all just raise a toast please to yet more wasted villain potential in the Boruto anime? You will be missed, Deepa. Listen, okay, before people get mad at me, alright? I know people are already in the comment section saying, Deepa's goat, it's Deepa season, baby! Listen, okay, I don't think Deepa was terrible. Like, he's not Urashiki level. Like, whoa, we don't mention that name around here. Like, okay, he wasn't that bad. I just personally think that, yet again, they fell off at the final hurdle when it comes to an anime original villain in the Boruto anime. Like, he brought forth so many questions about his personality and his character and a potential backstory that was sort of being sprinkled in, yet it went nowhere. And thus, in my opinion, it made that final scene, that death of his, which we've now found out, a little bit anticlimactic and a lot less meaningful. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that episode, are we? Let's get back into this episode and back into Kara. Like I was saying, I really enjoyed how Kara as a collective group works, because when you're watching it, you never quite know who is going to push someone else's buttons too far. Because the only one they seem to have any form of mutual respect towards, bar Victor that is Jigen, which again, like I said, comes down to their goal. They all are a member of Kara because they get some sort of thing in return at the end of it for helping the vessel reach phase 3. Victor, for example, was wanting some sort of miracle, really, for his health and aging, whereas the rest we don't quite know yet. All that we do know is that once this vessel is confirmed at phase 3, which in this episode apparently now it's in the early stages of phase 3 and Amado wants to test it, which brings me on to one of my favourite plot holes from the manga, and that the fact that the anime is explaining it. Because as you saw in this episode, we had the vessel flying off in an airship. Now, in the manga, the arc that we are currently on, which started last week with the OW episode, started presumably next week, or at the end of this episode. It started with the crashed airship. There was no explanation that it was Victor's. There was a bit of speculation behind it, and that he was in charge of it all as well. But that was it. There was no explanation on why the vessel was in there, why it was being moved, nothing like that. Whereas the anime has filled in the much needed blanks. As it turns out that they're sending this vessel off so that Jigen can confirm, and Amado as well, can confirm whether or not this vessel really is in phase 3, which does seem to be the start of their end goal. But as we saw, the job given to them by Jigen to transport this vessel hasn't gone quite as smoothly as planned. And that's partly down to, like I was saying, the really bad chemistry between the inners. Like I said, the only one they all have mutual respect for is Jigen, but Jigen never gets his hands dirty. He's always the one sitting down, handing out the orders. And then the rest of the inners, like Delta, Victor, Deepa, it's their job to get the mission done. But, like I was saying, because they got such poor chemistry, things are bound to go wrong, whether accidental or, in the case of this episode, purposeful. Because Victor wants to steal the vessel. So they loaded the vessel into Victor's airship, but because he wasn't trusted, which again comes down to the poor chemistry like I've constantly mentioned throughout this video, Victor was not allowed to be on board the airship in case he did steal the vessel. Yet, he had already been one step ahead, and he had a way to overcome that difficulty he was going to have to still make sure he gets the hands on the vessel. However, someone somewhere has caught wind of his plan and sabotaged his sabotage. Which, no matter what way you look at it, even though it wasn't Victor's responsibility that the airship went down, you can't help but think, oh boy, this is not gonna look good on him. I mean, he wasn't trusted already within the group, but the fact that now the one mission he was given has gone wrong, oh boy, I feel for you, Victor. Also, side note, okay, I had to bring this up, right? The puppets that were used on the airship that boarded the vessel and are on board the airship, okay? I'm not gonna jump too far ahead and into conclusions here because I could be proved wrong next week. However, I did want to mention it just in case I forget to at a later date and it's proved that I am right. So these puppets, okay, in the manga, okay, slight spoiler, not really if you're an anime only, but in the manga, we saw the puppets that were on board this airship and they looked like this. In the anime, they look like this. I have never in my life seen such a damn downgrade. Like seriously, I'm gonna hope that we didn't see all the puppets on the airship and that there's sort of like a combat puppet that we'll call them that are on board and we'll see them next week or the week after. Because the puppets that we did see, God, they look useless. They look like they belong on some string and in a damn pantomime. Like, these aren't some terrifying looking alien Terminator robots. These look like they've been just pulled straight off a stage play. So yeah, fingers crossed we will actually see the cool looking puppets next week or whatever. Because the ones that we've seen so far, my God, they're about as terrifying as an ant's fart. I should probably also mention the scene with Team 7 too, okay? It was nice. Okay, it was a bit more than nice, okay? It's just like, I was so fixated and interested with what was going on with Kara that the switch to Konoha, like, it was a massive cock tease that I just really didn't need. If you read the manga, you'll know that this happens quite a lot. And to get my first taste of it in the anime, it's just as annoying and heartbreaking and frustrating as it is in the manga. But it was still a nice scene anyway. It's just like, Kara, they're there, just give me Kara. That's all I want to see right now. But I must admit, like, the line that they put in for Naruto about always keeping a promise, like, I see what you did there. I see what you did, and I like it. Overall, I think I'm going to give this episode a 9 out of 10. Yeah, I said it. 9 out of 10. In my opinion, it was better than the previous episode, okay? I think that's an unpopular opinion because people said that the previous episode was like one of the best of the entire franchise. I ain't gonna go that far, okay? I thought this episode was better and I absolutely loved it. It's one of those episodes where I probably would go back and rewatch. I'm not gonna lie, that is heavily down to the fact that it's Kara's first proper appearance, but hey, I will give extra brownie points where they're needed. Next week, it looks like we're going to get some Mugino backstory, which is great. I can't wait to see that. Hopefully, I'll expand more on his character and also his relationship between him and Konohamaru, because so far, I've really enjoyed their best friend kind of relationship. I mean, it's kind of sad to see that Konohamaru's not really hanging around with Moegi and Udon and all that anymore, but in a way, I also quite like it because it's quite reflective on real life. You don't always stay best friends with the people you knew as kids. As you grow older and your interests change, you make new friends. And I feel like that's what's happened with Konohamaru. He's obviously still friends with Moegi and all that. He works with them as a shinobi. But he's definitely become closer, in my opinion, to Mugino. And I personally really like that the staff and the writers have done that. Get in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode. Also, leave a like if you enjoyed it and also enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you're not already to become a member of the Senpai Squad. And as always, I'll be seeing you guys in another video very, very soon. But until then, peace.